Welcome back to part 6 of our live training session here with our K24 swapped Civic Si. In this training module, we're going to explore full throttle tuning as well as part throttle tuning on our high cam of operation or VTEC operation. This is going to be looking at things like fuel, spark timing, variable cam control, as well as our knock control. And we're going to learn how we can integrate the variable cam control, learning how to do variable cam blending, and also figuring out where the VTEC engagement point needs to be at. We have a lot to cover here. Let's jump in so we can check this out. Welcome back to our live training session here with our K24 swapped Civic Si. This training module, we're going to be jumping into dialing in our high cam or VTEC operation. So we're going to sort out our fuel, our spark timing, and our variable cam control. We have a little bit of things to talk about with our knock control, but that's pretty much set up at this point. We're going to see how this goes as we're calibrating and tuning on our high cam engagement. Now, first thing we need to do is jump in and take a look at our fuel and spark timing tables. We have two tables for fuel, two tables for spark timing, and we're transitioning between our table 1, table 2 for fuel, table 1, table 2 for spark based on VTEC engagement. Let's go and look at that real quick. I actually have specific tabs for VTEC. We can see VTEC fuel, VTEC spark. Now in here, we're taking a look at our fuel table. This is our dialed in fuel table for our low cam. Fuel table 1 is low cam, fuel table 2 here is high cam. We can see the dual fuel table option, it's using dual table. The activation for table 2 is on aux 14, which is where we have our VTEC engagement configured here, aux 14. We also have our VTEC set here to turn on at 9,000 RPM. We're gonna have to go and turn that to a very low RPM, something like 3,000, so we can gauge VTEC low and we can get onto our table 2 here to take a look at how things are gonna be operating and running on our fuel model, air and fuel model here for the airflow table. This is the airflow estimation, the VE table. We need to get this sorted out just as we did here on our low cam. Now what I'm gonna do is actually take away some of the data points in our table. We actually have only, looking at this MGP as our axes or manifold gauge pressure, it's going from 0 to negative 100 and it's moving in 10 MGP increments. We want to do the same thing on our high cam table. We want to have them match. Let's go here and do X. Let's get rid of 95 and 85. Click OK. Click yes. Now what this is going to allow me to do is copy my low cam table and I'm going to go populate it into my high cam table. Now what I'm going to do from here is grab my values from probably about negative 40 and higher, and I'm going to go ahead and add 15% to the values. I'm going to estimate that my volumetric efficiency, my airflow coming into my engine, is going to be about 15% higher. It probably is going to be higher than that, but that's going to be a starting point of where I'm going to guess things at. I'm going to go then from negative 40 to negative 70 here and do Shift V and just interpolate that change I just made back and blend it back throughout the table. Now, let's go in here and take a look at a few additional things. So looking at our VTEC spark, we have our low and high cam table for VTEC, and we have table 1, low cam, we dialed that in, table 2, high cam, VTEC. We're going to go and do the same exact thing here with our spark timing table. We're going to copy our table here, copy the whole thing from our low cam, and we're going to paste it in here to our high cam. Now we can actually tweak and adjust two things in these tables here. So let's go copy and paste. And notice that this table is only going to 9,000, while this is going to 10,000. So we actually have to go in and scale our breakpoints. And this actually leads me into talking about doing the scaling option here. We'll just get rid of our 10,000 and 9,500. They're not relevant. Let's copy that data in here first. Let's first transfer the data from the table. So low cam to high cam. And we'll paste it. Let's try that again here. Highlight here. All the way across. There we go. Copy paste. Now the next thing to consider here is where we're going to have our breakpoints for our high cam table. We're not going to be engaging VTEC below 3,000 RPM. There isn't enough oil pressure in the engine to do it safely. So the lowest breakpoint I'm going to populate in either the high cam fuel or high cam spark time table is at 3,000 RPM. Let's go and configure this a little bit better. So we're going to get rid of 0, 500, 750, and 1,000. We're not going to get that low of engine speed on our low cam. And we're going to get rid of it all the way to 3,000. We'll click OK here. Click yes. Now our table is only going from 3,000 to 9,000. And that's more like where we should have our RPM breakpoints. Now, if we want to go and rescale this table, we're not going to have our low cam engaging much past 8,000. So we could actually do the same thing for our spark timing right here. We could go in and chop out 85 and 9,000. Click OK. Click yes. And now what we can do is jump into VTEC fuel and do the same thing here with our fuel table. So the low cam fuel table, we can get rid of breakpoints above 8,000. We're not going to be in high RPM anywhere near that, that RPM range. And then we'll click yes. And we're going to do the same thing with the fuel table. We're going to say 3,000 RPM is going to be where we started at. Let's go in here and click X, and we're going to highlight all the values we want to delete here. So I'm just going to keep getting X till we hit 3000, click OK, click yes, and now we've shrunk down our table. So this is a more appropriate volumetric efficiency table for our high cam in terms of our breakpoints. From 3000 to 9000, the low cam's going from 0 to 8000, and we have our MGP on the axes being the same, and the spark timing is also sharing the same map pressure axes in terms of the map pressure reading. And we're going to find the same engagement going from table 1 to table 2 based on aux 14, which is our VTEC output. So what we need to do here, since we've configured our tables and have some values in there that are pretty reasonable, let's go here, and I'm going to jump into VTEC Fuel and do my VTEC output, and I'm going to set this to 3000 RPM. Now I'm doing this specifically so I can gauge VTEC relatively easy. I'm also going to set my VTEC engagement. Thanks for checking out our teaser clip. If you want to see the rest of this video and more than 500 hours of current EFI training we have to offer, make sure you click right here. If you want to go and check out more teaser clips from this training course, click here, and you don't want to miss any of the videos we're going to be releasing on this channel, so make sure you subscribe and click here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.